and Her Royal Highness Princess Julapon Walailak will preside over the cremation of Miss Ankana. Attending this cremation will be several significant figures including politicians, military chiefs, and even police officers, all participating in the mourning ritual along with thousands of others. Ankana's cremation also influenced the PAD leaders in their decision to delay the minor rally in front of the police headquarters today. In regards to the investigation into Ankana's death and other injuries sustained during the events of October 7th, 2 panels for the committee being implemented to investigate the clash have been appointed by the Police Committee and Human Rights Commissioners. The prominent forensic science expert, Dr. Pontip, was initially invited to join the 2 panels, but doubts concerning her neutrality were raised due to a reported connection to Prime Minister Somchai when they were both in the Justice Ministry. A parallel examining panel or shadow examiner has also been suggested in order to double-check the procedures of the examination.
As you can see there, it turned out to be a very honorable occasion for the family of Kun Ankana Radapanyawut, the 25-year-old woman who was killed in the police crackdown on the PAD protesters on the 6th of October, on the 7th of October there, about a week ago, a total of 7 days ago. And so it was a very gracious moment for the family when it was planned already that Her Majesty the Queen, as well as Her Royal Highness Princess Julapon Walailak, was to be there, and exactly around 4:05 p.m. you saw the royal family enter the temple of the Shi Brawat, and there they were joined with other very high officials as well to receive them. You had all the members of the army, you had the Defense Ministry spokesperson General Apichat Pengitti. You had also the Supreme Commander General Songkit Jakkabat, and then you had the Army General Anupong Paujinda, and the Naval Chief Admiral Gamthon Phumthiran, and the Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal Tapon Sup. So definitely it was a high array of different officials, and definitely everybody was very sad. And there you also had the core members of the PAD present as well, such as Kun Sonthi Lim Thong Kun, Kun Somsak Gosai Suk, Kun Pipop Thong Chai, Kun Suresai Kut Gata Sila, Kun Sambran Rod Phet, Kun Prapan Kun Mi, and Kun Jamsak Bin Thong.
Apparently, it seems that not only did we see very important people of the country from the royal family go and also give their blessing and pay tribute, also people from the Democrat Party as well. You saw there earlier, not only Kun Apisit Vechachiwa, the Democrat Party leader, also the Bangkok Governor Apirako Satyotin. You also had the Attorney General as well, the Kun Ying Jaruwan Mentaka, there to also pay tribute to Nongbo or Kun Ankana Radapanyawut, as well as several other people. And so definitely the 3 military chiefs had gone to pave the way for the royal family to go and pay tribute. There was also a comment that Her Majesty the Queen said to the father, Kun Jinda, of Kun Ankana. Apparently the Queen had come out to say that Kun Ankana was a very good person who protected the monarchy and loved the nation. She said the king definitely acknowledges this honorary move, and also the donations and money for those injured also came from the king. It's also been reported that before Her Majesty the Queen and also Her Royal Highness the Princess had left the funeral ceremony, there was a very short conversation, conversing with Kun Sonthi Lim Thong Kun as well. However, no details were revealed about what had happened. It was a very short talk. However, it seems that reports say the Queen was all smiles, and so we'll definitely monitor that and see what happens.
Other than Kun Apisit as well from the Democrat Party, you had Kun Kontatika Wanit as well as Kun Grieng Saktaran Wongsak. Thousands of mourners, I have to say, thousands of mourners came from the PAD and the family members and whatnot. And as we saw it there, saw in our quote of the night, there was a variety of different statements from the family members,
right.
Mainly from the father, who you see here hugging Kun Sonthi, and the mother of Kun Angkana.
Yes, it was a very sad day indeed, and you saw everybody decked in black out there to mourn the loss of Kun Angkana. And tomorrow we will probably see the same thing with the police lieutenant, Colonel Kun Meti as well. But what was interesting is, despite the latest comment coming from not only the Prime Minister, Somchai Wongsuwat, but also from the police chief, National Police Chief, Pacharawat Wongsuwan, despite their sympathies coming out 6 days later to say they are sorry for what happened with the police and the PAD. There has been no visitors from the PPP and the political side of things, or the PPP coalition.
Well, I don't think it would have been appropriate, and it would have certainly brought a lot of security issues as well.
Yes.
And then that's probably why we only saw the spokesperson of the Defense Ministry turn up. We had these eulogies coming from the father and mother. We had a little brief thing coming from the mother. Let's take a look at what the father said.
Yes.
In his letter to Nongbo, he said that it was a great chance for him to tell others about Nongbo's connections with the PAD. He says that he knows that Nongbo did what she had to do for the nation, and that he promises her that the PAD will keep on fighting this war, and he is very proud to have Her Majesty the Queen and Her Royal Highness the Princess attend the funeral. Very short and very brief.
Yes.
You understand, he is the father role. On the other hand, you had the comments coming from the mother of Kun Angkana, which was very detailed indeed, even going back to when Kun Nongbo was a young child. She said, "Don't worry, Nongbo, your mother loves you. I want to tell you that I love you a lot and will always will. You will always be in my heart. You have always been a good person, a brave person to do anything. I can remember ever since the day that you were a young kid when you saw me washing diapers.
Yes.
And you took the opportunity to wash the diapers, even though you didn't know that the liquid would hurt your hands, and ultimately at the end you sacrificed yourself for that. And it's just the same thing with the rest of your life. You have been so generous to everybody. You have been my right hand, you have been my partner, and you are always well disciplined. And the medical staff have always talked about you, and therefore do know that I'm always going to love you, and I'm so sorry that I had no chance to tell you that. And as we saw there in the court of the day, you did your best. So ultimately it was a very sad day for the family there. Talking about the procession that took place as Her Majesty the Queen and Her Royal Highness the Princess were departing the temple, there was a whole line of PAD protesters or members on the street, and they smiled when Her Majesty departed. But it was very opposite as to the reaction to General Anupong Pautenda and the rest of the military officials, where it was seen that some of them took out clappers to clap at the military in a request to, wanting to know as to why there was no military action on that day to help protect the people from the police.
Right, the PAD have been saying the military not only have an obligation to clean up the mess, but also to prevent any mess from happening to begin with. So why was the military just standing there and watching as people got hurt? So definitely reactions, negative reactions to the military coming from the PAD. But altogether, it was quite an honorary tribute for a hero of the PAD, and definitely lots of security definitely mounted today as well. And so with that, we have more comments now coming from the Prime Minister now. The Prime Minister, Kun Somchai Wongsawat, has discussed the political situation with the cabinet members. Apparently, the Prime Minister and Defense Minister Kun Somchai Wongsawat will also be granted an audience with His Majesty the King very soon in the palace in Hua Hin Province.
Today, I believe, at around 5 p.m., he was granted the audience with His Majesty the King in the Bajor Kirikan Province or the Hua Hin area at the Krai Kangwon Palace, and it was to give the national situation report, basically what had happened in the past week with the crackdown on the PAD protesters and whatnot, for His Majesty the King to listen to. And afterwards, there were some comments coming from the government officials or spokesperson saying that this is not in any way a move by Kun Somchai to show that he is resigning. In fact, you had an earlier televised broadcast of Kun Somchai talking to the nation, saying that he is in no way going to be stepping down or dissolving Parliament.
And so with that, it was